When you think about video games that are coming out nowadays and the technologies they use, you should know that making a good game is usually not enough. When you look at some games that have reached success, whether they are indie games or made by an established studio, you probably make the mistake of thinking, I'm going to make that game but 10 times better, or I'm gonna make that game but it's going to be set in a different setting. Don't try to fall into that trap. To improve the likelihood of success, you should try to make your game stand out. But obviously that's the case. But how to actually do it? I've talked about how to determine the core mechanic of your game and how it's actually important to set your goal, your main thing that is happening, and what the game is revolving around. But while that is important, you should also check the market for similar games and start considering how you can describe your game, and if it comes out to that point, how can you actually promote it so that it sounds like it's revolutionary. If you watch my Kickstarter's Game Shame series, you would know that most developers have incredibly good hooks and their games get massive pledges on Kickstarter but then fall short because their game was all of that, a marketing campaign. So it's useful to learn from those experiences as well, making a marketable game that you can actually truly make. So my tip is, before you even start making your game, ask yourself this question: what is the hook of my game? What is something that people can read and they can picture a character in that situation and be interested in what happens next? Now obviously this isn't easy, otherwise everyone would have amazing games, but this is a process that is mostly forgotten by a lot of developers. Even if you're trying to make a shooter, it's better to write a hook, a story, bits of information that compels people to try it. You need to try to make everything as unique as possible. Obviously that won't work in all of the cases, but you want to try at least. I can give you one example like Overwatch. I have recently getting back into it and it's amazing how every character in a shooter game has its own story, his origin, making it even more personal to play with the characters and master them. It's a very cool concept that has people caring about the characters, the game, and the overall development of it. If they suddenly decided to make a character in the wrong direction, people will be confused and kinda angry. And if you have people caring about your game enough that they will be angry, that is good because it shows that they care. Now we need to talk about market analysis, and before you click off the video, I promise you it is possibly the most fun part in making your game. Now market analysis for me would work like this. Find around 15 to 20 games that you think are closest to your game. If it's hard to find similar games, you should still take a look at the closest games you can find and just play all of them. Examine their hooks, and very important part is to look at their sale results. It is very important that you include games that have sold poorly or haven't sold at all. You have to get a feel for these games and try to write explanations in your notebook on why each game has sold as well as it did or as poorly as it did. One huge note is, if you're not confident in being able to explain why the hits hit and why the others don't, you shouldn't be confident about analyzing your game either. You just need more practice in analyzing certain games and their hooks. Second part is to try to analyze the market. Are there enough fans for your type of game to generate the sales results you need to survive? Has even the highest grossing game produced enough revenue? If not, you may be in trouble. Or obviously you can get lucky and be the first to popularize the genre or discover a new one. This is how the mega big hits happen, like Minecraft. But you cannot rely on this happening to you because it's really risky and unlikely. And the last thing is to look at the competition you're up against. There's a lot of fans for mobile games, but are you really going to compete against Dota and League of Legends? Those games were at the top of the popularity list for over 10 years. To beat them, you would need to make an experience so much better that people would be willing to switch to a brand new game after they played that one for years. But on the other side, there's a lot of indie games that are shorter, where it tended to play them for 10, 20, 30 hours and the players move on. If you can give people a brand new, unique experience in the genre they love and enjoy, you might have a huge chance for people to try and play your game. Now I'm gonna teach you how to analyze the market and the way I do it. I use a website called Steam Spy. It's a website which gives you the number of owners the game has and the price of the game. And if you multiply the amount of minimal owners the game had with the price, you will get roughly the revenue of the game. Obviously, this is not including taxes and stuff like that, but you have to be careful. If you find an older game like here GTA 5 for example, which came out in 2015 and the minimum owners is 20 million. If you multiply that with 27.6 and you get around $500 million. Now you have to take that amount with a grain of salt, because the game had multiple discounts since it came out and the price wasn't always the same. Now the last topic we're gonna be talking about is promotion. Now promotion is something that most of the game developers hate, and I have to be honest, I was like that too. But you have to make game design and promotion go hand in hand, like I talked previously. If you have a hook or a main core mechanic of your game, you need to play out how are you gonna communicate those hooks on trailers and store pages, Kickstarters. And if they don't translate well onto trailers, you will be relying on people actually playing the game, experience said hooks and core mechanics, and that they need to spread awareness if they enjoy the game. Again, this is possible, but very unlikely to happen. It did happen to Minecraft though. The game wasn't on Steam or any platform and it spread with word of mouth. But again, it is very unlikely and risky. Not every day does someone make a #1 played game in the whole world. If you have some insecurity about the strength of your core mechanic, I think the best thing would be to add a demo of your game so that people can try it out for free and experience the hook for themselves. It is very important to look how people behave after playing your game. Most of them will say, "Oh, I had fun." But are they coming back for more? Are they anxiously waiting for you to put out more content? It is very important to observe your audience and the players that played your game. The most important tool for your game to be successful is the trailer, and they are vital. Don't leave the trailer planning to the last minute. You need to pay attention to every second of the trailer, because a lot of people will decide right there and then if your game is worth playing. Think about the most interesting, the most unique and the most valuable things to show, and show them in the best light possible. And when you make something, immediately think about how you can put it in the trailer and what would be the best way to do that. Also, keep it short. If you can get a person to be invested in your game in 2 or 3 minutes, you've hit gold. They won't wanna wait any longer because you entice them to play the world you created. The best way I think to guarantee you did the best thing possible is to hire a professional to help you make the trailer as best as it can be. But as I said, the hardest part is not actually making the game, it's not actually programming. Obviously you need to be a good game developer to do it, but it's not all you need. That's why indie game development is so difficult. You need to be good at a lot of things and you need to learn how to connect them that they make sense. Otherwise, your game dev skills are gone to waste. Making a design idea that satisfies a specific genre and promoting that genre to a group of people is the difficult part. But that is what you set out to do in the first place. You want something of your own. You want to compete, not on the technological level, but on a creative level, where the world you're making and the experience is unique. I want to thank all of you for the support I'm getting on the channel currently. I love you, and we just got the community tab open. Thank you so much, and if you could subscribe so we can get to that 1,000, it would really mean a lot, and I'm going to see you in the next video.